Hey, you guys, welcome back. And thank you for coming back because if you're watching this, then you're back and you waited on this. And I thank you for that from the bottom of my heart. Welcome back to Life Beyond the Filter. And if you've been waiting on episode 4 to drop, I apologize. I took back to back trips in the shortest month of the year. Why? I don't know, but here we are. Not complaining. Thank you for tuning in along the journey. And going forward, as I stated, I will be uploading bi-weekly instead of weekly because I'm a busy girl, okay? And I want these videos to be intentional, not unintentional, not rushed. I want you to get the full picture of my authentic self because honestly, that's why you're here, is because of authentic, genuine life that we're all going through. So I appreciate you. And tune on in for episode 4, Becoming Her. So let's first get into the breakdown of becoming her, right? Because you have to be her and then lose her and then become her again. Or I don't want to say again, but who you're destined to be, right? So let's get into the slow disappearance of becoming her. I would say that if you know me for a long time, you know I've always been very outgoing. I always wore heels, even when I probably shouldn't have. I was wearing heels, I believe, in 7th grade. I don't remember if my mom had got me some heels or if I was wearing her heels to school. I wasn't wearing like thick pumps or anything. They were my mom's little kitten heels because she had small feet. Wearing them to school in 7th grade, dressing up like I was going to work. That's always been me, honestly, even through high school. I have so many pictures of me just dressing up, and that's who I've always been. I want to say, going back to last episode where I discussed loving my husband and marriage and being with my husband for 13 years, I've been with my husband since I was 19 years old, and I want to say getting into my first serious relationship, which was with him, I lost myself. And I believe that's something natural. It takes away nothing from my relationship and has everything to do with me, right? I gained 50 pounds in the first few years of us being together. If you know, you know. I gained weight being with him. And, honestly, comfortability played a huge part. I was comfortable. Now, granted, he loved every inch that I gained and every inch that I lose. But I got too comfortable and I wasn't prioritizing myself. And that played along with just being with a partner. Me, I love hard. A lot of my focus went towards my relationship and having 2 children. I wasn't biologically a mother yet, but I was a mother to my bonus children even before marriage and taking on the responsibility of motherhood. So when you have that maternal instinct as well as you're in a loving relationship, you get comfortable. And I did. And looking back now, that's when I lost myself, is being comfortable and complacent, stepping into that mother role, stepping into that loving partner role, and worrying more about others than I did myself. And that's not a form of self-care that you should practice. And those small compromises that you make for others, instead of taking more time out with the girls or I'm gonna just get this for the kids because this is so cute instead of myself. I don't really need anything new. I'm gonna just get it for them. Or even picking up something nice for my husband instead of myself. Slowly, those start to take away from you and you don't even realize it. And it's not even necessarily a bad thing. So you get lost in it. And for those of you who have been with me a while, and I've also explained it in my intro, I was also working really hard at work too. So here I am at work, working my way up, working really hard, getting in leadership, being a boss, and still having to come home and be in that boss role because moms or bosses, right? Regardless if you're a bonus mom, bio mom, god mom, auntie, like we are those girls. And not taking away anything from a father, obviously, but we do a lot. Um, I'm gonna throw it in there. For example, one day I had to work late and Dwayne had to do everything that I do on a regular basis, such as cook dinner, get the kids ready for baths and bed and dinner. While he was cooking, he flooded our apartment because he left Amaya's bath water running. And I come home from work like, what is going on in my house? Like, again, I digress. So, as mothers, we literally do a lot. And it's in a lot of our nature. So honestly, hyper fixating and focusing on my house and ensuring that my house was good, I neglected myself. And the thing about it is, you don't just realize that you're lost. You literally just wake up one day and like, what happened? Who am I? Like what is going on? Which brought me to the point of really roles versus identity. And I saw a podcast once where they had asked the woman, tell me about yourself. Who are you? And the woman identified herself. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. I'm a friend, a relative. And they asked again, no, who are you? And it was a reality check that the woman couldn't identify herself outside of her roles. And I got to thinking, there have been many times where I wrote my bio down. Like, I'm a real estate agent, so I write my bios down. I just did it again. And you give your titles instead of your identity. And it's like, I'm more than just a mother. I'm more than just a wife, a dog mom, even a real estate agent. I am an outgoing, beautiful soul, internally and externally. My internal beauty just makes my outside look better. But I am so much more than the roles that I've taken on. And that really started to make me dive in deeper to myself and really dig into who actually is Pinky. Who was I? Who am I currently? How would I like to identify myself as? And where am I going? And that really did it for me. So then that's when the question comes in, who am I outside of what I do for other people? Mm, that's the one. Who am I outside of what I do for other people? And like I said, I am a loving, but again, I contradict myself because I'm loving to others, but am I loving to myself? So that's when I started practicing self care. I'm going to get me a massage, facials. Now, I always had my nails and hair done. Like it was never an exception to seeing that. But I got to a point after losing myself where I stopped getting that done. And that's how you know I wasn't myself. I wasn't. I want to say the moment that I realized what was happening internally, it took some time, but the moment I realized it, I was like, yeah, yep, it's time for a change. And it really didn't hit me until I started in therapy. And I've done therapy in the past. I will say this, nothing against race, religion, any of that, but I've only had male therapists in the past. I didn't choose it that. I don't even recall how I said it. I've only had male therapists in the past. This time around, I had a woman. I have a woman close to my age, also very relatable, is what I would say. And honestly, the relatableness and our connection is really what solidified so much for me. It it was a match made in heaven. God knew I needed her. And I still see her faithfully, okay? Because it's necessary. Everybody needs a therapist. Everybody. But I will say that waking up and realizing, one, you have to take care of yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't be a great mom or a great wife or a real estate agent or a student or whatever you have going on in your life. You can't give your best self if you are not prioritizing yourself and making yourself the best you can be. What helps me find myself the best, honestly, is leaning on my faith in the Lord's word, honestly and truly. It's so different. And I know our pastor says it all the time. It's so much different being physically in church on Sunday versus watching it streaming online, as well as being into your word and understanding your word and having peace and faith that everything is going to work itself out. Because when I tell you, God has gotten us through 100% of our bad days, why be scared? Why be full of fear? Why be worried? Also, setting boundaries, having to set boundaries and know your place is what I would say. And I'm gonna be honest, being a bonus mom can be so hard. It can be so hard, no matter how much you love on your bonus kids or want the best for them. Everybody isn't in agreement to that. And I'll leave it at that. And I had to create a boundary within myself to tell myself, I love these babies. They know I love them. I show them nothing but love. And I will leave it at that. That's all I can do. That level of peace, it was unlocked, baby. It was unlocked. And also saying no without over explaining. No is an answer. No is a sufficient answer. Say no. Stop doing what you don't feel empowered to do. If you have a bad feeling about something or don't want to do it, no is okay. Um, Dressing how you want is a huge one for me. Oh my God. Dressing how you want is a huge one for me. I'm a curvy woman. I am curvy. I have always been curvy, right? So pretty much anything I wear, majority of what I wear, if it's not oversized, is going to fit me. And it's going to, in many cases, show my curves. I can't help that. I can't help that. For a long time though, I became uncomfortable with wearing certain clothes because of my figure. Because I didn't want people looking at me uncomfortably, because staring at me, it makes me a little uncomfortable. I don't like all that attention, men are looking at me. Like, honestly, that makes me uncomfortable. So I don't like that. But I had to get to the point of being like, I don't have to, I'm not dressing for anybody else. I am dressing for myself. It's okay to be modest. I'm modest, but I don't always have to be so concerned and caught up what other people's opinions may be of my body type or what I put on to live my life. Like, I'm 32 years old. I am so done living for others. And that's the key right there. Stop living your life for others. That's really when I became me, who I am today. Is I decided I am no longer living for the approval of others. I could care less what you think of me. Shocker. I don't care. Especially because, one, you get the version of me that you deserve. I'll leave that there. So, in stepping back from no longer caring about how others think or feel about me, I started protecting my time. I no longer want to be in spaces with individuals who make me have to question them. I won't elaborate, but I don't want to be in relationships or in the presence of others who I have to question anything about them. Life is too short. It's too much going on in the world to have to question someone's intentions with you. So, having no problem with eliminating relationships, whether they're family, friends, whatever, having no shame in eliminating relationships that don't serve you. And allowing yourself that permission to change, not being so fixated on everything else. That's why you have to tie into everything else that I just mentioned. You have to stop caring what others think about you. Stop forcing relationships. You have to stop trying to please others when it is taken away from you. And ultimately, the last version of me survived. This one is intentional. Now, I say all this to say it's okay and honestly expected to lose yourself. But, girl, get up. Get up and find yourself. No matter how many times it takes, get up and find yourself. And don't stay down. Don't ever be defeated. I have so many people reaching out like, you've been showing out. You look so good. You look so cute. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it because, yeah, yeah, I digress. But this is the honest truth. And if you ever feel like you lost pieces of yourself, you are not alone. Trust me. That's what this podcast is here for you to understand that you're not alone. And you don't have to go alone through that journey. I'm here. And if this resonated with you, let me know. Follow me on Instagram, Life Beyond the Filter. I have a Facebook group, Empower Women. Or you can add one of my business pages, Pinky Nose KC on Instagram, or my Facebook, Pinky Miller. But I say all this to say, if you lost yourself, she's not gone. She's just waiting on you to remember who you are. See you in 2 weeks for episode 5.